Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson is a show about the journey of motherhood. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
We have a great lineup today, and it has a little bit of a theme of Broadway, of television. And first, we're going to start off talking with Tony Award winner Sutton Foster. She is going to star in the 15th annual Christmas with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. It is a show that has been on the air for many, many years, and she is joining actor Hugh Bonneville of Downtown Abbey on Masterpiece. She will star as guest musical artist and narrator. And he will star as narrator. She will be the guest musical artist in the beloved annual holiday television special, Christmas with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir on PBS and BYU TV. Sutton, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about the Christmas with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir concert.
Well, it was just an incredible sort of opportunity. I always sort of equate the Mormon Tabernacle Choir with Christmas, and somehow in my brain, probably because of the PBS special.
Right.
They had actually approached me a couple of years ago to sing with the choir, and I was so excited. I was like, what? And but I couldn't make it work because of my filming schedule with Younger. I'm on a television show called Younger, and we were filming at the same time, and I was so disappointed. And then the opportunity came back around for me to do it. We did the concerts last year, in December of last year, and I was just so excited and so honored. And it became like this wonderful thing because my husband and my daughter and my husband's mom and her husband and my dad and his lady friend and like everybody came, and it just became, because it was like, it's such an event and like and such an exciting sort of moment, and what a way to celebrate the holidays and to celebrate Christmas. And so it was really it was our daughter's first Christmas, and so it was really cool to kind of do it there. And it was just a real joy to, I still kind of like can't believe it happened. It was a real honor.
You follow in the footsteps of greats like Gladys Knight, Angela Lansbury, Audra McDonald. There's been so many amazing performers doing this over the years.
I know. And it's, I still have like those pinch me moments where I can't believe I get to do what I love, for a living, and that these type of opportunities are afforded to me. I'm still kind of like, what? But it was a real thrill, and I was just, and there was something kind of interesting too, because the venue is so, there's over 20,000 seats, and all of these people come, and every seat's free. No one pays for tickets. It's really this wonderful gift for the community, and even though there's 20,000 seats, and there's 300 plus people in the choir and 100 people in the orchestra, and yet there's a lot of people in this room. Yet somehow we all have this commonality, which is Christmas, and the sort of celebration of the holidays and togetherness. And it was really very intimate, oddly. It was such a special thing. It was very overwhelming, actually. I remember like on the third, we did 4 concerts, and on the third concert, I started welling up, because it's just all of these people kind of coming together with like-mindedness, and it was really beautiful.
It cool sounds gorgeous. I can't wait to see it this year. I mean, it was founded in August of 1847 by a group of frontier settlers just 29 days after arriving in the Salt Lake City Valley. And to what it's evolved to today is absolutely amazing. How would you say this show this year is different from previous year's shows?
Well, I was thinking about this because I think Hugh Bonneville and I, we, just because we are who we are, we sort of bring ourselves to the program. I think that's what's so great about how they put it together, they really looked to us about. They asked me they were like, what do you want to sing? And I was like, I said, well, I would love to sing my favorite Christmas song, which is Christmas Time Is Here, which is from the Charlie Brown Christmas special. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'd love to sing that. And I was like, and I really want to sing a song for my mom. My mom loved John Denver, and my mom passed away 4 years ago. And I really wanted to. I think she would have gotten such a kick out of me singing with the choir and being there. And I was like, I really want to dedicate a song to her. And so I sang "Sunshine on My Shoulders" to her. And I always think of John Denver too, because of the Christmas special he did with the Muppets.
Uh-huh.
And John Denver is just goodness. I just love him so much. And I really wanted to dedicate a song to my mom. And then we do a big Broadway medley of Christmas songs from various Broadway shows. We kind of do
sounds great.
There's a little bit of Broadway in there too. So
yeah, how could there not be, right? You're starring it. Yeah. There has to be. I mean, I remember I've seen you in Thoroughly Modern Millie. I've seen you in Anything Goes, and you're just one of those incredible performers that really leaves a mark in everything that you do. So tell me what you're up to nowadays.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm in between seasons. We start filming again in February for Younger, and so really I spend a lot of time. I do a lot of concerts. I travel. I teach, but my number one job is being a mom, and trying to figure that out.
I'm with you. I have a 19-month-old, so I understand.
Oh, you do?
I do.
We're right in it. Yeah. So it's she's 20. She just turned 20 months. So we're right in the same area. But
yep.
It's I feel like you talk about, I feel like I can go on stage. I can do a 8-minute tap number. I can hit a high note. I can sing with a choir. I can do all these things. But feeding my daughter oatmeal can break me. So it's like. I was like, how is this possible? I was like, but she's like, it's been like the greatest, it's the best role it's the most challenging.
Yes.
The most challenging role I've had to play so far, but yet the most rewarding. And, we're having a great time. We're really having a great time.
That's great. And it's so funny. Before becoming a mom, I'd always heard people say that, oh, it's really difficult, but it's really rewarding. And I never quite understood it until being in those shoes. And like you, I've done a lot career-wise in my career and and I thought, what? And then motherhood is just, it turns your world upside down. It's just completely different.
It does. And I look around at my apartment that it was never really spick and span, but now it's littered with, toys and I can't quite I'm not on top of anything, I'm just sort of trying to get by on all things. And that's what you just have to kind of keep moving forward and do your best and choose your battles and let the pile of stuff, grow, and it's okay. And so it's you just try to, and as long as everybody's moving forward, everything's going to be all right. And
that is great advice and a perfect way to end the segment. Sutton, thank you so much for joining me today. I cannot wait to see your performance. And I agree with you when it comes to momhood. It really is just keep moving forward and don't worry that the house is messy, or the apartment, I should say, in my case, your case, just toys everywhere. And we just have to accept that they do take over. And that's the bottom line.
Yes, they do.
Thank you so much. Again, tune in to see Sutton Foster and Hugh Bonneville of Downtown Abbey. They will be performing in the Christmas with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir on PBS and BYU TV. Coming up next, we are going to talk with an actress who's starring in The Band's Visit. More coming up. I'm Michelle Jerson.
Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson. Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson is a show about the journey of motherhood. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy, and I am thrilled to have on the line with me Kristen C. She is in The Band's Visit, which is an amazing show currently on Broadway. It is the 10-time Tony Award-winning Best Musical. It's tied in third place for the most Tony Awards for a single show behind The Producers and Hamilton, tied with Hello, Dolly and Billy Elliot. And Kristen, you have an amazing bio behind you as well. This is your Broadway debut, but tell me what else you've been up to.
Yeah, I do all the different things that actors kind of do to make ends meet. But I'm a voiceover artist. I do audiobooks and ads. I also do. I have an experimental theater company called The Team, which is helmed by Rachel Chavkin, who's the director of Natasha Pierre and The Great Comet of 1812. We've had a company that we write original work with for the last dozen years.
Wow.
I've toured all over the world with them. And I also, I'm on House of Cards and various other TV shows. So I do all the different things one can do.
Yeah. Well, you're extremely talented. And I wanted to talk with you because The Band's Visit is a very powerful show on so many levels. But your role, I don't want to give it away too much besides telling everyone that they should go see it if they're in New York or when they come to New York. But your role, you play a mom, a new mom. And tell us a little bit about your role without giving it away.
Sure. So Iris lives in a very, very small town in Israel. Kind of middle of nowhere. Nothing much happens there. But it's where she grew up. It's her parents are there. So her mother actually passed away about a little less than a year ago while she was pregnant with her child. Mm-hmm. And so she's currently, the kid is about, we've estimated that my plastic baby in the show is 4 months old. And my husband, Itzik, is a charming, fun-loving, music-loving guy, but who hasn't had a job for a significant amount of time. And is a nurse and has been basically being the breadwinner and the baby raiser in this family for many months, and is dealing with the loss of her mother and postpartum depression and all of the other things, and is kind of at the end of her tether when the show starts. And the show takes place just over one day and night. So you catch her at right about her breaking point.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of new moms or moms who have been in that role before could relate to you very much so. And I think a lot of moms go through that where they're going through so much emotionally just in having a new baby and raising a new baby. And postpartum depression is no joke. And that's why, there's so many people out there saying, hey, go talk to someone, you're not alone, and all of that. And then to have a husband too, who's not working, and there is so much pressure. How did you prepare for the role? Because I know you don't have any little ones right now, but you were amazing and really affected a lot of people watching this.
I really appreciate you saying that. I have a lot of friends who recently have given birth. Over the last 5 years, I've had a lot of friends who've had their first child. And so just witnessing that and being present for that, including my sister, and reading, and truly it's like the thing about the postpartum depression, and the thing that kind of unlocked a lot of it for me was trying to always remember that she's lost her mom. And that this is the only person in her life that we see. She's surrounded by men. Her child even is a boy, and she's got her dad around who's a little bit hapless and tries to help, but kind of can't really figure it out. And her husband is still trying to figure it out and trying to help, but doesn't know how. That she doesn't have her women. And I think that was something that I could really emotionally connect to, was like this feeling of where is my support? Where are the people who understand that this is a real thing? Because I think, the experience of feeling so dark and feeling so lonely, I think that she just can't share that with her father or her husband. It's just not something that's not the role that they're supposed to play in that experience for her, that her mother, who had been through childbirth, and her, where are her ladies? And that was really a profound help. Once I realized that was the piece that kind of made it all come together for me.
Yeah, yeah. And that is so true, how important support is. And I wish we had more time to continue talking, but we only have a minute left. So tell me really quickly, how can people get tickets for the band's visit?
Just visit our website at thebandsvisitbroadway.com, I think is the website. We're running, it's an open-ended run, so you should be able to get tickets. I think, you know what? I don't know how long it's open-ended, so you can find online all the rates that are available.
Perfect. And you are at the Ethel Barrymore Theater on West 47th Street. Thank you so much, Christina, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Such a powerful show, and so nice to speak with you. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Gabe Saglier from Travel Zoo, and he's going to talk to us all about some family travel ideas for the holiday. I'm Michelle Jerson.
Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson. Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson is a show about the journey of motherhood. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy, and holiday season is upon us, and that means a lot of travel for a lot of families, whether you're traveling locally or maybe you've decided to go somewhere nationally or internationally to celebrate with your family. And on the phone, we have senior editor of Travel Zoo, Gabe Saglier, who's going to talk to us all about some great holiday getaways. If you're thinking about a last-minute getaway still, whether it's for Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever holiday, or just in general, where we should go this winter. Gabe, thanks so much for joining me today.
Hey, Michelle. Great to talk to you.
Thanks. So I'm so glad you and your family are safe from the fires in California. How are you guys doing?
It has been just sort of a whirlwind and sort of a numbing experience out here. I'm talking to you from L.A. We do live in Westlake Village, which is this one of the communities that was under mandatory evacuation. We got the call at 2 o'clock on Friday morning of last week that we had to get up and go. And within the hour, we had sheriff's deputies with loudspeakers outside, just basically getting everybody out. This fire, the Woolsey fire, and there were two sort of that started simultaneously in that, basically right on the border of L.A. and Ventura counties. They spread so quickly, wind-driven, as we know, destructive, deadly. They completely sort of changed some of these communities that we know and love, like Calabasas and Malibu, portions of Westlake Village and Thousand Oaks and Agora Hills. And it's just, I think we're still sort of trying to get our bearings. We were out of our home for about 4 days before the evac order for our community was lifted. But you're still seeing an amazing amount of activity. You're seeing the water dropping aircraft still hovering overhead. You see an amazing amount of crews that are sort of parked along the streets, sort of a shift change. And you still have roadways that on and off are remaining shut down, that are affecting travel north and south in and out of Los Angeles.
Right, which can definitely affect holiday travel, especially this Thanksgiving.
Indeed. And, you talk about the 101, which is the main artery that connects, L.A. with areas north of Ventura County, Santa Barbara. Any road trip that happens between L.A. and San Francisco, the better way to go is the 101 because it's so scenic and historic. And because a lot of the canyon passes that connect 101 with Pacific Coast Highway remain closed or are intermittently being shut down to facilitate travel by rescue and first responder personnel, it is clogging. It's just creating a lot of backups, and people have to just add probably an extra hour to their daily commute because of it. And as you know, as we head toward the Thanksgiving holiday, that can just be compounded. So something to keep in mind for people coming to Southern California, that this is still active, and it's you just have to sort of plan for extra time on the roadways if you're going to be traveling that particular stretch of the state.
Right. Well, that's great advice. And I'm glad you're okay. A friend of mine, a colleague who I know, his home did not make it into the fire. And I've heard a few stories of this. So do you know any overall organizations, if people want to get involved, of helping with victims of the fire? The
American Red Cross is sort of the big one here. And they've got several chapters on either side of that Ventura, LA County line. And then, if you use the hashtag Woolsey Fire or Ventura County Fire or Southern California Fires, it'll actually lead to spot. That's where I found actually a couple of more localized groups that are focusing on some of these communities, whether it's Malibu or Westlake Village, or Calabasas, and so depending on the kind of organization you want to donate to, that's a way to go. United Airlines is actually giving out bonus miles to people who donate to these firefighting efforts. So they started a crowdfunding campaign. So for people who donate, in different denominations, you get X amount of bonus miles. So there's a variety of different travel and aid organizations that are very actively looking to offset some of the inevitable costs that have hit so many people so hard and so quickly. I mean, part of what's happened here is that people are still shell-shocked because of just how quickly these fires developed and spread and covered an amazing amount of square acreage and mileage. And that's nothing to say of what's going on in Northern California, which is devastating in its own way. So it's a bit of a numbed sort of vibe to California at the moment as we approach a very festive time of the year, but on the heels of what's been a very trying and tough couple of weeks. Inevitably, it's the kind of thing that helps communities, come together and helps in a time when so many things are sort of scattered and jagged and
right.
It is at the end of the day something that is bringing a lot of us just to focus a little bit more on the important things, if you will.
Yeah. And there's always a silver lining, and that's nice to hear. And hopefully with all of our help from around the country and around the world that people can rebuild their lives. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about if you are getting away for the holidays and maybe you're leaving Southern California and say, all right, let's just go away somewhere, or you're anywhere else. You came out, Travel Zoo has launched your annual holiday gift guide. Tell me about that.
So we did a survey recently that shows that 50% of Americans admit that one of the toughest things they're going to be doing this holiday season is finding the right gift for the right people.
I never know what to get anybody anymore.
I've been married to my wife for 15 years. I have no clue what she wants. And 80% of people say that they would rather have be gifted an experience over a physical gift. So that means that instead of the ties or the socks, although I always love a great pair of socks and a great tie, people might be looking for a unique foodie experience, or maybe they're looking for a spa day at their favorite, 5-star resort, up the street. So, this holiday guide is geared toward different cities across the country. So if you've got to give a gift to somebody living in New York or living in Dallas or living in San Francisco, it's arranged by market and arranged by interest. So if there happen to be adventurers, or they happen to be, really sort of culturally driven, maybe there are shows that you want to gift them tickets to, or maybe you can even purchase overnight stays at hotels across the country that you can gift them, and then they can go ahead and choose their travel dates at their leisure. And the way that these work is you're saving anywhere from because we're all about stretching your travel dollar. You're saving anywhere from 30 to 50% on these experiences. The gift getter, your recipient, doesn't know that you saved all that money. All they know is they're getting a spa day at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills.
Sure.
And they receive this beautiful in the mail, this beautiful sort of gift pack that announces that's the gift they're getting from the one that they love. It's great for people who live outside of your area, but even if the great stocking stuffers for coworkers. For family members, it's just dozens and dozens of options. So it becomes one of our more popular offerings every year, and it's easy to find right there on the homepage at travelzoo.com.
That sounds great, because I'm with you. People ask me what I want. I don't know, a pair of wool socks. I mean, I'd much rather have a spa experience. And I've always been of the belief that I will spend my money traveling and on experiences before I spend it on actual materialistic things, because those are memories that just last forever. And whether it's a travel trip or, like you said, something for yourself and just go and relax, especially for all those moms out there who are working really hard, they could use the relaxation.
It's also a way to discover something new. I just I got an early gift from my colleague in New York, which was a curated, I think it was a 3 or 4 course dinner at a restaurant in New York called Seska. I'd never been there. It's in the Upper West Side. I'd never been there before, and we just loved this dinner. And it not only created a great one-time experience, but now I've got this restaurant that I know I really like, and I'm going to go back to. So it allows you sort of to, when you know someone's interests and what they might like, it really it can be a great way of discovering new places, new things to do, even if they happen to be in their own backyard.
Right, exactly. And now you and Travel Zoo specialize in deals and how we can save money. But tell me how we can splurge and what we should splurge on a little more this holiday season.
So, I think I mentioned this to you. We spend as travel folks, the entire year telling people how to circumvent and how to avoid paying travel fees. As you know, the airline industry makes, $4.5 billion a year just on these checked baggage fees, and right. Another $2.5 billion a year on the changed, when you have to change your ticket, your airline ticket, the fees you got to pay. But there are some fees, and if you think about the holiday season, this is the time of year when, for many families, it is the one time of year that they're traveling. Maybe they missed out on a summer vacation. For a lot of folks, this is the big vacation of the year, the big travel experience of the year. We set records on days around Thanksgiving and around New Year's and around sort of that end of the year holidays on just the volume and the number of airline seats that are packed and the airports and the way that they get crowded. So I think that there are some fees you may want to consider splurging on for the sake of sanity, or for sort of streamlining and enjoying that whole travel experience a little bit more. One is the airport lounge. For folks who have not done the airport lounge, it's a little oasis. Airlines run them. Sometimes they're airport-specific lounges. They can range from like $39 to $59. To get in there per person. But it does give you, especially if you're dealing with like flight delays, or you gave yourself several hours ahead of your flight, things like the cushy seats, the food, the cocktails, the free Wi-Fi. They've become increasingly more sort of amenity driven. And then there's the airline seat. The fact that you sometimes have to pay a little bit more to get the perfect seat. But if you're traveling with kids, for example, you may want to splurge on locking down the bulkhead seats, which oftentimes give you a little bit of extra leg room without having to worry about kicking the seat of someone in front of you. When I travel when my kids were younger, and I'm traveling over the season with my 3-year-old daughter, for example, I have to avoid putting her on the aisle seat. And so, maybe you want to pay a little bit more to guarantee having that window seat instead. So strategically, and I love being in front of the plane rather than the back. So,
yes, I'm with you.
And sometimes when you pay up for these seats, it comes with earlier boarding, which gives you that coveted real estate known as the overhead bin. And if you're traveling with kids, you've got that extra paraphernalia. You don't want to be stuck with no overhead bin space and having to gate check bags that might have like your kids' toys in them, or whatever it is that's going to keep them busy and entertained during the flight. So there are a couple of these fees. Just this one particular time of year might be worth considering splurging on, just to make the whole thing a little bit more bearable.
Yes. And I couldn't agree with you more, because I've gone the economical route and my daughter is still under 2 years old. So I haven't paid for a seat for her yet. And I think, what, if there was a time that I wanted to splurge, or we were going on a long flight, I would absolutely splurge on that, because especially now, it was fine. Maybe when she was 6 months, she can sit on my lap, but now forget it. She's all over the place. And I think that's another thing that you might want to splurge on, is just go for that extra seat for your little one.
Yeah. No, we love the idea, this idea that before the age of, until they were 2, you could actually fly with them on your lap. And it only took 1 or 2 of those flights before we realized, what? Maybe we don't wait till they turn 3 to get up a seat. Let's just get the seat now, and just that extra real estate there just makes a big difference. Now, clearly, as we head towards some of these very, very specific holiday dates, like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and the Sunday after, you're looking at spikes in airfare, and getting that extra seat might be a little tougher to do. So that's when you creatively come back from that Thanksgiving holiday on the Tuesday, Wednesday after, instead of the Saturday or Sunday, because it's simply you're going to be saving anywhere from 30 to 50% on that airline seat. So there are ways to do it if you strategize just a little bit.
Yeah, I found also that if you can fly the morning of Thanksgiving or the morning of Christmas Day, that you also can save a few dollars. Yeah. So if you don't have that true. Thanksgiving dinner until the evening, that might be a way to go.
Yeah, the secret's slowly getting out about those. You know what flight is really, I found is really is probably one of the best ones to fly where you're almost guaranteed an empty middle seat is that 6 a.m. flight on New Year's Day. For some reason, people are not.
That is good advice. And you know what? When you have little ones and you're not out partying anymore New Year's Eve, that's the way to go. Exactly. Thank you so much for joining me today, Senior Editor of Travel Zoo. Where can people go for more information on all of these great deals and experiences?
One-stop shop, and they're at travelzoo.com, Michelle. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Anytime. Coming up next, we are going to talk with Christina Rodriguez, and she's going to talk to us about how music affects the little ones. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson. Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson is a show about the journey of motherhood. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy. And part of the show is I love talking about what kind of programs can affect children. And I have to say that firsthand, I've seen my daughter, who's 19 months, really be affected by music. And that's why I'm very happy to have on the program with me today, Christina Rodriguez. She is the Coors Light Leaders Program of the Year. She's been recognized and highlighted for the achievements of emerging Latino leaders through an online public voting competition, a national campaign, and a robust community outreach. Christina is the president and co-founder of Mind and Melody, a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the quality of life for those experiencing neurological impairments such as Alzheimer's through music. Hi, Christina. Thanks for joining me.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me here.
Tell me a little bit about the Coors Light Leaders Program.
The Coors Light Leaders programs helps emerging Latino leaders across the country like myself who are dedicated to improving their community. The program highlights 12 Latino leaders every year, and the leaders participate in a month campaign to raise awareness about the work that they're doing. The leader with the most votes during that month wins the campaign and receives $25,000 for the community program.
Wow, that's amazing. And so how will the $25,000 grant award help you make a positive impact in your community?
Absolutely. So it will help us. The Coors Light Leaders program helped us win $25,000, which will help us expand our music programs for older adults experiencing dementia and Alzheimer's through music.
Your career started working with kids. Tell me about that.
I started volunteering at a hospital when I was 14 years old, and I wanted to create a room filled with instruments where the community could come in and create music to kind of bring that experience to people. And I started learning more about the impact of music and the brain. And during my junior year of college, I met my co-founder, Lauren Koff, and that's when we were able to create Mind and Melody with a focus on older adults and dementia and Alzheimer's.
How do you feel that music affects the communities, both young and older?
Music is the universal language. It has the capacity to tap into many brain areas, and it serves as a treasure box for memories. When we listen to our favorite music, we often recall our past. We may remember the moment when we first danced with somebody that we loved, or a family vacation, a funny moment with friends, and we really remember those moments that make us human.
And it's been amazing just seeing my little girl we started taking her to music classes when she was 6 months old. But as she's gotten even a little older, I really see how much it's made a difference, and she sings along to songs with me, and she's really engaged in these classes. So you began your journey as a dedicated volunteer. What did volunteering teach you?
It's something that has always been within me. I wanted a career where I'm immersed in my work every single day, and I can see that direct impact.
So what tips do you have to encourage young people to volunteer in their community?
find something that they're very passionate about, find that cause, and try to start small. I think as people in general, we always want to aim really big and see massive change. And yes, we can get there, but sometimes we have to remember we're going to start small. We're going to see a little bit of progress, and eventually every little progress, every little step becomes that big change.
Absolutely. So where are you volunteering? Who are you working mostly with?
Many healthcare facilities in Florida, and we also work with individuals at their home. And those are some of my favorite sessions to see, because you go into somebody's home, sometimes it's an older adult that maybe doesn't have a lot of family around, maybe they don't leave their house at all, and you can come and just transform that environment. You know, you come in and they're just so grateful that you're there, and they're singing their favorite songs, and you see those memories come back. But you also gain a lot of knowledge that they have to give.
Yeah, my grandmother, when she was alive, she had so much knowledge to give and so much to say, but it really was just a matter of engaging her, because a lot of times these people don't leave their houses, and maybe, you know, it's dangerous. Like if they're in a place where it's snowing or it's cold weather, you know, they are in their home. So to be able to have somebody like you come by and, number one, keep them company, and number two, to engage them through music is really tremendous work. So where can people go for more information if they would like to get in touch with you or somebody from your team?
mindandmelody.org, and look around the community and see Latino leaders that are doing great work and how we can help to elevate them. The Chorus at Líderes competition has helped me tremendously by creating national awareness, and also receiving this $25,000 award is going to help us expand our programs here in Florida. And I recommend, you know, for really to take that moment and nominate somebody in your community at ChorusLightLíderes.com. The application opens next year in February 2019.
Christina Rodriguez. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy, and you can follow us on social, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you can see all of the shows if you've missed any of the episodes on my website, passportmommy.com. Have a great rest of the day.
Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson.